right,
There we go.
Good boy. And he's pretty primed for today's topic.
Pets
In comics.
in comics.
On the Sidekick Weekly Poll.
Pets in comics, pets in comic book stores.
Pets,
The best part about quarantine.
animals, sidekicks. You got your little furry buddies. Maybe they help you fight crime. Maybe they just snuggle you at night. But
Yeah, whatever you're
where would
into.
we be without them? So today we're going to talk about some of our favorite little fuzzy buddies that are in some comic books that we like.
I don't think Krypto made the list.
It's because he's like, tell me what you like about Krypto.
He's got a little cape.
His name.
He went trick-or-treating with Swamp Thing.
Okay, I'll get him that. There's this one panel I've seen online that I don't know if it's real or if it's like a redub.
Yeah.
But of him wearing a cape and like Superman's like, hey, that's my cape. Take it off. It looks dumb. You're not even supposed to wear a cape. You're a dog. Like something along those lines.
We should look for that. We'll put it in the video for
Yeah.
everybody.
I'll find that one. But,
Add it to the Google Doc.
so yeah, we got a whole bunch of pets here because
Once we started talking about it, it just sort of
there
got
are
out
a
of
lot.
control.
Luckily, I'll try not to dwell on each of my entries as I sometimes do. But
That's okay. That's the only one we're doing tonight.
so many dogs. It's not all cats and dogs.
No. We switched it up.
My number one is not a dog.
All right, there we go. I guess I'll start things off by
Yes.
talking about the Amazing Screw-On Head. It's a fun little one-shot from Mike Mignola from like the mid 2000s, early 2000s. I want to say 2002. It's a wacky little story about a robot who works for Abe Lincoln, taking care of international crime. He's got a screw-on head to go onto different bodies.
Isn't it just the portrait of Abraham Lincoln? Like his spirit is possessed the portrait of Abraham Lincoln?
I think it's.
Or is it
I
actually
don't know.
him?
It might actually be him.
Alright.
I'm not sure what era it takes place. It's only a one-shot. It's never explored otherwise, so I think it's sort of vague in timing.
Yeah.
But anyway, all we need to know is that the Amazing Screw-On Head has a dog companion named Mr. Dog.
You know.
Yeah. And here's a little excerpt from how Mr. Dog helps. So the Amazing Screw-On Head says, Mr. Dog, I need Emperor Zombie's current location. To which Mr. Dog replies, woof woof, 687 miles southeast of Castella da Mancha. So, like, that's about as much he does. That's really all
He's
Mr.
good
Dog
at
does in this
location.
issue. He doesn't, like, I don't think he's in the rest of the book.
So there's like a dog GPS?
Yeah, he's a dog GPS and he's in, like, a glass tank.
Okay.
Like, he's in a... Like, that's Mr. Dog in there.
Yeah.
So he's just like a barking GPS locator.
Who could
And,
be a statue or not. Does he move?
I think, well, it's a comic, so everyth's static.
Yeah. Oh. Now I've been reading them wrong the whole time.
Oh,
I've been
no.
trying to flip through them like a flip book.
Why am I reading these books so quickly? That's my favorite first pet in a comic book, Mr. Dog.
Mr. Dog. I love the name.
Chris,
Yes.
what do you got? Other than Cooper, who's your favorite comic book dog?
I know I'm biased, but no. So I thought we couldn't go an episode without talking about Tippy and the army of squirrels in Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. So Tippy is the title squirrel, the main sidekick. You can identify Tippy because she is wearing a little pink bow in all of the issues.
So it's like Anthony for Ant-Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
it's
hero.
a lot like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I
She
didn't know.
can talk to and summon all squirrels, but Tippy is her particular favorite companion.
Yeah.
And Tippy helps out by making suggestions, by hanging out sort of around the college dorm, by being an ambassador to the other squirrels at times.
She helps Squirrel Girl defeat Galactus.
Yes, that's the main, I think, plot point where the squirrels help the most is when they all sort of like locate this planet full of acorns.
Also, there's a moment I love when it's in this first book when they fight
Yes.
Galactus, when Squirrel Girl goes to steal some Iron Man armor to like
Yes.
fly up to the moon to fight Galactus, and so she like fits her own Iron Man armor to fit her tail and stuff. But then Tippy also
Yes.
like is wearing like an Iron Man gauntlet, like,
Just like
as a
the
full
gauntlet
suit.
as the suit. It's
And
amazing.
it's adorable.
It's
I
so
love it.
cute. So
actually wanna see
it's
one of them.
really it's really hard to beat Tippy as a sidekick. You know, she can keep up with Squirrel Girl. She has lots of little quips. She's always a part of the conversation, and I love that about Tippy is that it's not just like an animal sidekick that jaunts
Suit made of
along.
squirrels.
She is for sure helping. Yeah, and at a certain point they do wear an entire suit full of squirrels, and they talk about how if you're punching, are you punching the squirrels? That seems inhumane. And they say no, the squirrels actually get out of the way in between.
So Tippy can talk.
Yes.
That is
Squirrel
adorable.
Girl can talk to all squirrels, but other people can't understand them.
So it's like a squirrel language.
So it's just a chip, 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 but she can understand it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is, like wearing an Iron Man hand.
It's great. So great.
I gotta read that. It's
Yeah!
adorable.
It's a lot
Oh
of
my
fun.
god. It's so much fun, and
Look, that's a better
we
shot,
love
just the
Ryan
hand.
North
It's like a
and
thing from.
Ryan North's animal companion, Chomsky, the dog.
Ryan North, great guy.
Yeah.
Is Anna Kendrick the right casting call for Squirrel Girl?
That's okay.
I like her though.
Is that like a thing,
think
or is
she's-
that like a
She
fan
wants to
cast?
play
Yeah.
Squirrel Girl.
Sure,
And
she's fun.
She's fine. I hate the idea that, like, some comics, like, that aren't written by Ryan,
Yeah.
they sort of treat Squirrel Girl as, like, kind of like an annoying character. And I don't like that because in the original arc, she's, like, not portrayed that way. She's more subdued than that. I think because squirrels are, like, chittery and, like, squirrely, they people sometimes write her that way, and I don't feel that way about it.
I can understand how like her, like I love her character, but she's very like passionate and forthcoming, and I can understand how some characters might be annoyed by that.
Yeah, but some writers seem to like
Like,
take it too
yeah.
far. I think there's a balance between like being fun-loving and giggly and
Yeah.
like being just like an annoying female character.
Yeah.
And I think that's a hard line to walk. So I'd prefer someone else to do it.
Maybe it's just the red hair, but I'm seeing like that young actress from It and that new Netflix.
Oh, she's
like I
great.
don't,
Oh,
like
she's-
I don't.
she's
Yeah,
wonderful,
she's really great. She would be a good choice.
and she's
for
good
that.
at the fumbly.
It's also that
Yeah.
she's like early college in these, so like
Yeah.
I don't really want like a woman to play her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired of the whole like hulking 30-year-old like, man, isn't high school the worst?
Yeah, I
Like,
would like
Joe Manganiello as Flash in
Yeah.
first Raimi Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's like, he is a man,
for sure.
big man.
I don't really know much about Squirrel Girl, so let me ask this question: is it like a One Punch Man joke, where she just like knocks out Galactus?
No,
and we don't have-
she often uses her problem solving and smarts to figure out how to beat villains.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't like. I always thought it was like let's duke it out, and then
No,
like
it's not.
They
cut
just,
to
like-
the cut
Yeah.
to they're knocked out.
No.
Oh.
And she usually can just sort of like the thing about Squirrel Girl, the thing that makes it so charming is that she has a charisma about her.
Yeah.
So she does like most of what she does with Galactus is talk it out.
Yeah,
and
she just like becomes bros with Galactus and convinces him to do something
and
else.
like Craven the Hunter becomes very fond of her. So she has like sort of like this charm about her that mostly like people just like her. And that's how she solves problems.
Oh, okay. So there's no like parody joke.
Well, there
knockout
is. She
power.
is quite
she knocks
proficient.
out-
Like she does also like kick some ass.
She
like,
does.
I'm pretty sure she does like kick Thanos' butt,
Yeah,
like
you-
physically.
you
Yeah,
kick
yeah.
up Thanos, right?
Yes, yeah.
So if they were doing a death battle, would it be fair to have Squirrel Girl versus One Punch Man?
If you're gonna be like super like, well,
The power
canon
set,
says
blah,
this,
blah,
power
blah.
says
Yeah, yeah.
this. Like no, I assume Squirrel Girl would probably lose.
She would lose in a punch out, but the thing is that
beat
Saitama
Galactus.
Saitama wouldn't fight her. That's how it would end. They would eat noodles together and it would be over.
Yeah, that'd be a great episode. That'd be great.
I'm just saying the whole point of Death Battle is that they actually battle regardless of their feelings. Yeah. So.
I mean, she's super strong and athletic and like squirrely and can jump around. But like, if you have like the power cosmic.
Well, if it's raw power, yeah, because Norrin Rad and her do get in a fight, and he does like give her a little.
Yeah.
And it sucks, and then they have to work it out together. But yeah, he would have destroyed her, and it's clear by their confrontation that that's what would have happened if she chose to continue to fight him.
I didn't know that. I always just assumed it was a joke, like they would like face off, and then the next page would just like be Galactus knocked out. Yeah, no. I thought it was a one punch.
No.
I did
you
not
gotta read it.
I will read it. It looks fun. I like Ryan Norton.
It's funny because only recently Chris and I were sort of laughing about how some people, it's like, I want to get a superhero book for my kid. And they're like, oh no, this is punching in it. This is no good. It's like, well, that's what happens in the superhero stuff. Yeah. People punch. But it's funny enough that title does provide an alternative to that, but it's great. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, there definitely is punching. Like,
on occasion.
People get hit. Bank robbers get like thrown into walls and stuff. That definitely happens. But her allure is definitely that like she can beat Galactus by convincing him to go away. By being his friend.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
She's empathetic.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I love the voices in it. Like, like some people are like, oh, that's not how Galactus would talk. But like, Squirrel Girl's telling Galactus how she beat Thanos, and Galactus is just like, ha ha, what a nerd. Like, I love it.
It's kind of like when you read.
It's got a charm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when Plastic Man was a thing for a minute, like that reprint in like the early 2000s, and it was fitting in that like Mad Magazine, Zucker Brothers kind of vibe.
I have not got my hands on that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, it had like a Ren and Stimpy's art aesthetic. It was super cool, but like Batman and Superman would show up and like their dialogue matched what the vibe of the book was.
Yeah,
that's fair.
They were like a little bit watered down.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I'm going with the boys' terror, the English bulldog that is Bill the Butcher's right-hand paw dog.
I'm having a brain fart. Did Terra make it to the show?
He mentions him in the show. Right now, what I have on the thing right now is the reprint that has Mother Milk's actor. I forgot the actor's name, but actually the performances in the boys' show are
really
solid.
good.
Yeah.
I actually like this show better.
Yeah. Like I love the book, but I also love the show. I saw the show first.
Yeah.
It's like, this is great, and they read all 72 issues of the comic in like a week or two.
Yeah.
And it's like Sweeney Todd for me. The stage moved them both a lot for different reasons.
Yeah.
I had the experience of like reading the boys comic like sort of close to when it came out, and I kind of gave up on it because it's a little bit grimmer, a little bit darker, and also
it's nasty.
It's a nasty, rude book.
It's gross.
At that time, there was so much of that too. I think people sort of forget what comics were like when this was coming out, and there was a lot of this. And it's not that it's a bad version of what it is. I think it's actually really good, and now looking back at it, I appreciate that more. But the amount of that I was consuming, I just like...
Yeah, there was a ton of that, especially when that was coming out. But
so the show is actually really
show's good.
refreshing.
And the show keeps the edge. Like, it's not any... Like, there's the botched 9/11 in the boys comic, and I'm like, they're not going to do that in the show. And like, in the show, they do it like right away. I'm like, what the fuck?
I was surprised with some of the places the show went. I mean, granted...
But we're not here to talk about the show. No. We're not here to talk about boys. We're talking about a little mutt named Terror. Yeah. And he's adorable. I don't really like humping jokes. You're just like, there's something humping my leg, and that's the joke. And they do that a lot in the boys. But Terror is adorable. The main difference between the show and the show and the comic right now is the boys, like Billy the Butcher, Mother's Milk, the female, Frenchie, and even Terror do have superpowers. They're tough.
I forgot the Terror had powers too.
Terror has powers too. And he is integral to the story of the comic. Yeah. Because Bill the Butcher loves this dog more than anything. And there's a few times where like Bill the Butcher and the boys they go like out of commission, they get poisoned, and they're out for a whole arc, and it's just like Huey and Terror trying to solve problems.
And even like to what you're saying about it being important, there are even times when, like, because we know that Bill the Butcher and Homelander are just, like, have the biggest of beefs, but even Homelander's like, don't mess with that dog.
Don't mess with that dog. And spoiler alert, someone does. Someone kills Terror, and it, like...
Whoa, big spoiler alert there.
I said spoiler alert, and, like, someone kills Terror, and that, like, is the linchpin for Bill the Butcher being like... We're on, like, the war's on, like, and it's just fucking chaos. Millions of people die because one dog dies.
Which is fair.
Which is very fair, and the way, do you remember how Butcher kills the guy who killed his dog?
Yep.
He pins him against the wall and just stabs him all night long, like long after he's dead. Yeah, it's brutal, and it was sad to see him go because I like English bulldogs are like the most temperamental dogs to begin with. They're like pals, right?
Yeah.
And he was always just a right hand pal for
very like bow-legged.
Yeah. So he's always like chewing on a ball. He was always kind of grinning, and he just always kind of loved life, and you know.
Yeah, you don't want something to happen to that dog.
Yeah, but something happened to that dog.
So if you watched The Boys and you liked it, and you want more dog stuff and you're bored at home,
read the comic.
Yeah.
It's a great comic.
Yep.
They're both rude. They're both brutal in their own right. The Boys, the comic is way darker. But not by much. I give it credit for how edgy the show is.
The show definitely goes places where I was surprised, but like the book is just another tier of depraved.
Yeah.
The show's still coming. Just maybe they'll get there.
Yeah, just more of it. And there's differences that make a lot of sense. Like there's nothing like, oh, they can't do that. That's disrupting the sanctity of that character.
It doesn't.
None of that's that. Yeah, it's good. And Carl Urban's great.
Yeah.
And Quaid Kid. I don't know his first name. He's Dennis Quaid's son.
Oh.
Dennis Quaid's son.
Okay. Yeah. I know. Yeah, he's good.
Or Randy Quaid's nephew.
Everyone in the show's great. I really enjoy
Randy Quaid. He's going through something right now. No, Randy Quaid legit. You know who Randy Quaid is?
Oh no.
Oh, Randy. You know who Dennis Quaid is?
Like I know it's a big name. But
No.
As soon as you remind me, I'll be like, oh yeah. But right now,
Randy Quaid was the guy in Kingpin. That's not Woody Harrelson. Have you seen Kingpin?
No.
Jesus. Randy Quaid is. I guess you didn't see.
2 seconds.
All right, look up Randy Quaid. He's the Vacation, the National Lampoon's Vacation. He's the wacky brother. Jesus Christ! You need to watch these things not because they're good, but just so you have references for life.
None of this is a comic book pet.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna know.
Anyway, Randy Quaid thinks the Illuminati's after him, and he's going into hiding by like driving across country.
I still don't know who this guy is. He does not look familiar to me.
And he's funny, and he's a good actor.
But he's driving across the country.
But he's driving around or running away from the Illuminati.
Speaking of dead dogs.
Oh no.
Doctor Strange.
I know. Okay.
So when Donnie Cates and Nico, I don't know if it's Henriksen or Henriksen, but they have a very short run on Doctor Strange of like 10 issues, also includes the Damnation arc, but they take this arc to introduce a new character to the Doctor Strange mythos that has remained. He is still a player in the Doctor Strange world now. His name is Bats the Basset Hound. He's a dog.
He's great. He has floppy ears. He lives in the mansion.
Yeah. So how did Bats come to be? I'm glad you asked, Jason.
How'd he come to be?
So one point, Doctor Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore. Loki is. Basically, Loki tricked Doctor Strange into thinking he had lost the mantle. So he is now working as a vet. And how he does this thing as a vet is basically he just enchants the animals so they can talk, and he's like, hey, what's wrong with you? And they tell him.
Which is lovely.
Which is brilliant.
I love this arc because it's a good use of his medical training.
But anyway,
and
then somebody
animals.
And then basically Bats is a dog that he just like keeps, and so it's a talking Basset Hound. And like somebody makes a Dr. Dolittle joke. And then Bats is like, hey, who's Dr. Dolittle? And then Doctor Strange is like, oh, he's like a doctor who can talk to animals and bats. Is like, that's a pretty good joke. So he's just like a very
What
like
a good boy.
he's just a great companion. But a bit of a spoiler here, he dies. So this dog fucking dies. Loki kills him by not even by accident. Literally, Loki's just like casting spells at Doctor Strange, and the hype of it. Bats has a heart attack because he's an old dog.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange is like screaming at Loki to stop, and Loki's like, I didn't hurt him, it's fine. But then he just has a heart attack and dies.
Yeah. So like indirectly kills the dog. He feels horrible about it, but like I've never forgiven him.
No, but then it's just so touching that basically Doctor Strange at this point, because he doesn't have enough magic, because he's not the Sorcerer Supreme, like uses the Sentry's help to raid Asgard to steal magic from like the World Tree Yggdrasil.
Yeah.
And then he's at this World Tree. It's a good arc.
Yeah.
And then he's at the Yggdrasil, kind of like giving an offering to trees. Like, I know typically like you require an offering. He's like, I don't have much, but I do have this very good boy. And he just lays like, he's got like Bats' body in like a duffel bag. He lays it down. And it's just him, the very good boy line. Just like for our listeners, just so you know, Jason's wiping a tear from his eye right now.
It's real tears.
It's just great. But then Loki ends up like resurrecting him as a ghost. As like as to like make up for it. So he's just like a ghost dog that hangs out with Doctor Strange now.
Yep.
That's not so bad.
So
and he's in most comics now that happen around sort of the mansion. Like even the Black Cat arc where she goes to steal an artifact, Bats is there.
Yeah.
Because he is part now of that sort of universe. So
yeah, it's that's his origin in a nutshell, I guess. And now he's just like a sassy, funny little ghost dog who hangs out at the Sanctum, and he's great.
I love it. You're not gonna kick him out.
Oh, look how comfy he is. I'm never as comfortable as this dog is right now in this chair.
Fair.
So
I guess
I'll be
I'm
right
just
here.
gonna let him have it.
Yeah. And plus it's a pet episode, and Chris, you were going to talk about pets in comics.
Yeah.
What do you got?
He's so cute.
Should have brought Jigs.
I know. He would
Honorable
not
mention
like
of my cat back home. Thinking of you, buddy.
We can edit a little clip in the bottom. The one where he's playing with Spider-Man.
It's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. So I'm here to talk about a comic's pet. But is it a pet though? I guess a boyfriend is a pet. Because you have to feed it.
I'm a husband, so that doesn't matter.
So yeah, you're the definition of a pet.
I'm a different slave.
Aw.
But what could you possibly mean, Chris?
So, My Boyfriend is a Bear is an indie comic by Oni Press about a girl who has a series of not so great boyfriends, and then she decides to date a bear. I don't really know how to put that better.
Well, the bear shows up and whimsies her.
It does. It eats some snacks out of her trash, and she thinks, well, look how handsome that bear is.
And he can juggle.
And he can juggle. And then he falls asleep in her kitchen. And then they keep hanging out, and they just keep hanging out, and it keeps happening. And then her boyfriend is a bear.
He wears a shirt, like he doesn't.
She puts a shirt on him.
Yeah.
Honestly, this comic is like, it sounds really weird in premise, and it still is, but it's the illustration style is so adorable.
Yeah.
And then her friends and family are kind of horrified at the start.
Well, they're concerned for good reason because it's a fucking bear.
It's not like, oh, honey, how's it? Like, it's real world. Like, that's a bear.
He does not talk.
Yeah.
He is a bear. And he just, like, kind of lumbers along and, like, helps her get things from high shelves and, like, takes a nap with her cat. And she winds up deciding that this is the best relationship she's ever had. And then towards the end, he goes off to hibernate, and she's very sad that he's not there anymore. And then he comes back in the springtime.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
It's very strange.
He does not talk.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
he's a bear.
He makes noises. He's like.
He's excited to be there. He's a gentle bear. They go out places together. They go for a fancy dinner. He wears a little suit jacket. It's really good, but it is definitely a bear. And the tagline on the back is, "Can love conquer all? Don't date a bear." But a cartoon bear, that's just hilarious.
Yeah.
And adorable. And all the problems that they have are like, oh, he makes a mess. Or he snores real loud.
That's not unbearable.
It's the best comic about, like, someone dating, like, an animal that I've ever read.
As opposed to all the other comics of people dating
There's
animals?
some weird shit. There's, like, Unnatural and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's some, like, sort of strange, sexy comics about this. This is just, like, snuggles and naps and wearing shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know.
Snuggles and naps.
And I just really appreciate that. It's a very soft comic. I feel like it's a good comic for quarantine. Like, if you're feeling sad and you're by yourself and you're thinking about, like...
And it's following, like, a weird dream logic thing. But not just, like... Not with how weird... Just how weird it is. And I think that's all... Things are getting weird in this quarantine. Like, our brains are, like, operating in a different level now.
So, like, a cute comic about someone who snuggles a bear and then
Yeah.
they eat lots of snacks together. I don't know. It kind of sounds like what you need right now.
Yeah.
It's very soft, and the bear is a very good boy.
I wouldn't mind having a big 500-pound grizzly to snuggle.
Right? Sounds great, actually.
Well, I'm also going on a soft, lighthearted adventure with Neil Gaiman's Sandman. His magnum opus, probably my favorite written thing ever. I know I come on every week. I'm here. I'm like, this is the best artistic blankety blank. Probably my favorite thing ever is the Sandman.
I thought Berserk was your favorite thing ever.
It's not done yet. I can't give that to that yet.
It's not concluded.
And it's probably not going to beat Sandman. Sandman's wonderful. It's just such a lovely tome to the power of storytelling and creativity and all that jazz. And
lame, non-essential stuff.
yeah. But it's so deep and mythic, and the theology of it's lovely. But he has, I guess, a pet. But Morpheus himself, the King of Dreams, has a crow with him at all times. Because why the fuck not? It's gothic. It's the King of Dreams. It's a shady, pale-faced dude.
Yeah, if you're gonna have anything,
you're gonna have a crow, and his name's Matthew. And they very much allude that he was a human that was in a car accident, and he was resurrected in the dreamscape as a crow. And he's kind of like his snarky, much more edgy Jimmy the Cricket. Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, Jiminy Cricket, where like Morpheus mopes a lot. He has a lot of relationships, and he feels sad about them when they break up. And Jiminy Cricket, Crow, Matthew is there to be like, "Hey, stop being a fucking dick. Get over that."
I like that as crow energy. I feel like crows would be a little bit like, man.
Crow's your honest friend. He's like, hey, dude, you're being kind of a dick.
Yeah. He's kind of there for that. And it turns out through the whole Neil Gaiman epic, he kind of pulls a Samwise Gamgee, where he seems very ancillary and tertiary there. He's like, oh, he's a nice foil for the mopiness of Morpheus. And then towards the end, he becomes like the heart and soul of the book. Spoiler.
You realize he's been carrying a lot.
He's been carrying a lot of the weight the whole time, and spoiler alert, but it's a 30-year-old book.
If you haven't read it.
Yeah, Morpheus does die at the end, and he dies by sacrificing himself so all creativity can still exist. And Matthew is destroyed over it because they built a friendship over eons. They're timeless. They're called the Endless for a reason. So they built a friendship over existence. But you can't have creativity just cease. So a new Morpheus shows up. I forget his name, but he's white. He looks
Dave,
the new king of creativity, and he's kind of like, hey, can you help me out? I could use some help getting the ropes of who everyone is and what's going on with this whole existence thing. And Matthew's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, kid. Let's do it. And he makes a new friend out of it. So he's the antithesis of why pets are here. They're not just here to be something to pet, but they're there to be pals.
They're here to teach your lifelong lessons to your reincarnated children after you die.
Yeah, that too. But just to remind us to be.
Hope that he lasts that long.
Yeah, to remind us that we can be better than we are.
Can we just release like a 20-minute video of us just petting Cooper here? Just
I mean, that's practically what these videos are.
It's an ASMR video of all of us petting Cooper.
Get the mic right up here. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
But Matthew the Crow, we got some good ones. We got, what's his name again from Doctor Strange? The ghost?
Bats.
We got Tippy.
We don't have to talk about Pug Dredd. It's okay.
No, we should.
Pug Dredd? Yeah, we have some ones we want to throw out there, right?
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. We got Pug Dredd. We got Judge Dredd Mega City Zero. Pug Dredd does not matter to the plot. Judge Dredd does not care about Pug Dredd.
Because he's a bad
At some point, these kids start following Judge Dredd, and then they find a pug, and then they put his helmet on the pug. They're like, hey, it's Pug Dredd. It's a pug wearing his helmet. It's cute.
It's adorable.
It's just super cute. At some point, there's like a big fight, and there's just like one random baddie yells like, "Oh, that's it! I'm gonna start stabbing puppies." I think he has puppies, and that's just what he says. It's a great little speech bubble.
Yeah.
I think it's a good example of like Judge Dredd being. I've only read a bit of it. Like I'm sort of new to the world of Judge Dredd. But from what I have read, he is the straight man. So the scenarios and the people in the stories can be just wacky as hell.
Yeah.
Everybody else in a Judge Dredd story is balls to the walls weird, and the locations are strange and wacky and distorted, and he is like boring and like the law, and it's sort of that's a cool reversal. Whereas like Spider-Man in comics, he's wacky. The weird one,
and then the villains are also wacky, but the city is normal.
But but that's a classic setup in like comedy or in other storytelling, where it's like if you're gonna have something weird, you gotta have the straight one, you gotta have the normal thing to play off of it.
And that's our main character.
Yeah, which is not something I have a lot of experience in, so that's cool. And Pug Dredd's cute.
Yes, super cute.
Also, Andrew McLean draws a cute cat in Apocalyptic Girl.
That is a cute one.
And if you haven't read it, you absolutely should.
If you're walking around a radiated wasteland alone, you might as well have a cat. Because we don't care if it's the apocalypse or not.
No, and that's a pretty affectionate cat for the wasteland.
Yeah.
Like, she does, like, hang out with Arya and, like, is there for her, so then when, the conclusion of the book happens, they do wind up together. Because they've formed a bond, which is awesome.
And let's not forget the Legion of Super Pets, Comet the Super Horse, Krypto the Super Dog, Bebo the Super Monkey. I forgot the cat's name.
I only knew Krypto was one.
No, there's
a shout out to Beasts of Burden, which is a book just about good boys and girls. So all the cats and dogs of the world have been secretly fighting evil and demons and witches and zombies this whole time while we weren't home. Did you know that?
He's fighting zombies. Was that why he's so sleepy?
Yeah,
no.
He was up all night making sure demons didn't come out of the portal.
That's why he's stressed that you guys are home all the time.
I know, he's like, how am I going to fight evil?
He's all tuckered out.
Yeah, but those books are like amazing and watercolored, and Evan Dorkin, who writes them, is very funny and very smart. And
what's his last name?
Dorkin.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he wrote Dork.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He was teased as a child.
Yeah, but then he owned it in his in his
people who were teased as a child are much better adults than people who weren't. So
because we've developed that callus.
That's why I'm so red.
Sidekick Weekly Pool.
Join us next week when we dive into the review of the graphic novel adaptation of The Secret Life of Pets.
2 with Patton Oswalt instead of Louis C.K.
Good call.
What other nebbish comedian can we get to come into?